Recording, we're on. Cool. All right, guys, what's up? It's Brandon Michael here, your host of the Hawkast podcast here. Now, with the video, this video is going to be coming up the day of the draft, which is tomorrow. So you know what that means. Well, the best times of the year, no matter if you're picking first or last, you never know if you're going to get that player that changes your franchise. Today, I've got a very special guest here, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce him here. Now, this is a very good friend of mine. It feels like we've been trying to do this forever now. Now, this man, you can find him on, you can catch him on the Magic Perspective. He's a host on Fantasy and Flavors. He's maybe going to get a job with the Buccaneers next year. We're not really sure about that. Hey, we're crossing our fingers. He went to the Combine this year. He's definitely, he knows what he's talking about. I want to bring you on here if you didn't know what you're talking about. So, please let me welcome Alex Fleming.
Thank you.
So, Alex, I've got a few questions for you. NFL draft is coming up very soon, few hours when this video comes out. So let's go ahead and just break down some of the positions I have because, Seattle does have a lot of needs. So let me just go ahead and get started. So it looks like Jadeveon Clowney will most likely not be back. In my opinion, a lot of the reports are saying, Seattle doesn't really have enough money to sign Jadeveon Clowney. It looks like defensive end is going to be a position in need, especially, we were a team that were 31st in sacks. Losing Jadeveon Clowney doesn't exactly help that. So we're going to probably go ahead and look at some defensive ends. Now, obviously, Chase Young and those type of guys are not going to be available for us, but we do have a couple names have been floating around. Pete Carroll, John Schneider has met around with a few of these guys. So I'm just going to go and ask you just a few of these players, and I want you to rank them, or not even rank them, but give me your opinion. And hey, this is not a good guy for us, or just in general, if this is not a good player, just go ahead and give me your opinion. So Gross Matos, I don't know how Uter Gross Matos.
Yetur Gross Matos,
Yes.
Penn State defensive end.
Yes.
Good hands, power defensive end. He's actually on my draft board. He's probably the fifth best option.
Oh, really? So you're high on him?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go AJ Epineza. Is he higher or lower than Matos?
Higher.
Really? So you have, even after his bad combine, you're still on him?
He is a player that doesn't show up until it's game day. Some people have an on and off switch. If we're not playing for money, or if we're not playing collegiately, he doesn't turn it on. It was the combine. He didn't have to face any competition, and he did what he needed to do. I think his draft stock was already solid. You could find him late first round. He's getting snatched in the second round if he makes it to the second round. But no, he could be a game changer for your team.
Okay, for sure. Okay, and then finally, Zach Bond. What are your opinions on Mr. Zach Bond?
Okay. Potential bust. Think
Really?
he might be doing steroids. He racked up a lot of tackles in Wisconsin, but that doesn't say much because that linebacker core doesn't know how to stop the run. If they knew how to stop the run, they'd probably have to deal with less tackles, make them throw more. Zach Bond is the biggest reach. He doesn't deserve to be a first-round pick. Yeah, he's second-round material, but I'd rather have one of the other two.
Okay, for sure. And if you were going to look at Seattle right now and be like, you know what, you're at 27th pick, you can either trade down or pick one of these guys. Are you 100% looking at, hey, the talent's there in the later rounds. You can probably trade back, get a collection of picks and wait, or it's like AJ Epineza guy where you can't miss on him. You got to take a shot right now.
You have to take a chance on AJ Epineza.
Really?
Okay, the game tape is solid. His combine isn't going to impress you. But if you pass on him and he goes to the Patriots or to the Ravens and he's a thorn in your side in the future, because Seattle's going to have to play these AFC teams in the future, you don't want that happening. Pick him up, use him as a weapon, and if you ever change to the 3-4, you have your outside linebacker.
Perfect. Okay. So moving on from DM, we've spent a lot of time on that. I want to go ahead and look at linebacker. Now, Seattle obviously has Bobby Wagner, who's one of the best linebackers in the game, arguably the best linebacker in the game. KJ Wright's getting a little older in age, but he's still solid. Now, Seattle is probably going to lose Michael Kendricks, one of their linebackers. And, there's a lot of rumors going around. Brady Henderson, one of the reporters, just announced that maybe if Kenneth Murray or Patrick Queen were there for Seattle, they might steal him. What are your opinions on Patrick Queen and Kenneth Murray? Who's the better linebacker in your opinion?
In my opinion, on the eye test, I'd rather have Patrick Queen.
Okay. So
Now, go ahead.
no. Go ahead. 100%.
I have nothing against Kenneth Murray, but
Mm-hmm.
we're thinking about intangibles. Murray's not that good when it comes to covering. And when it comes to coverage sacks, Patrick Queen beats him hands down. I think Patrick Queen has a little bit more to offer to your team than Kenneth Murray.
Okay, perfect. Now, this is another situation. If you're at 27, are you using one of your picks to grab one of these two guys, or are you saying, not cut our losses, let's go ahead and trade back?
I highly doubt either one of them are going to be available at number 27. I'm thinking the way that things are projected, Murray is probably going to be the first linebacker off the besides Simmons. He's different.
Yeah.
Murray is probably going to be the first true traditional linebacker off of the board, and you might get lucky with Patrick Queen. If you get lucky with Queen, forget Epineza. Get Queen, but I don't think you're going to get lucky, Seattle. You're sitting at 27.
Okay. Moving on from linebacker now, I want to go ahead and talk about safety because now Seattle does have a secondary problem. It was evident against the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams had what a game for Devontae Adams. Quandre Diggs, we traded for Quandre Diggs last year. We have a second round. We used our second round pick on Marquise Blair last year, sat the bench. We have Bradley McDougald. He's getting a little older. There was a little bit of rumors that, like, you know what, Seattle might go ahead and target a safety in the draft. Now, there are rumors that if McKinney drops, obviously we're going to take him. But I've been looking a lot at Antoine Winfield Jr. I like his ball skills. I like him a lot. I think he had 7 interceptions last year. If you're going to go ahead and look at us, if McKinney, is there any way that McKinney drops?
No. Well,
Absolutely
not to 27. Not to 27. If by some chance, and I do mean chance, that the Dallas Cowboys don't take him, because that's the team I haven't penciled in for, expect Minnesota to snag him.
Wow, 100%.
Yeah, like that. I believe Xavier McKinney in Dallas is a match made in heaven. And if by some chance they pass on McKinney, I believe Minnesota's going to take him with the 22nd pick.
Wow, that's big. Okay. So you think, is McKinney the best safety in the draft, or would you rather go Delpit?
The best safety in the draft is Isaiah Simmons. But that's a completely different story. I do believe for the position, Xavier McKinney is probably the best safety that you can get. I like Winfield. I have nothing against Antoine Winfield. But McKinney, smart. You have to be smart. You have to be smart in today's day and age. And I believe McKinney is a better safe play than Antoine Winfield. Winfield, you could probably have in the second round. So if you really wanted to fix your defense, go with the defensive end or linebacker and then pick up Winfield in the second round.
Where do you think he goes in the second round? Is it early? Is it later?
Mid second round.
So you think he might still be available if Seattle does have, I think we pick at somewhere in the, I don't even know. It's somewhere in the second round. We're somewhere mid-second round. We have 2, so.
I'm thinking you do have 2 second-round picks.
Yes.
Your first one is a couple of picks after the Buccaneers, and your second one is 58, I believe.
Okay. So, for sure, McKinney's there. You forget everything. You draft McKinney, no doubt.
Grab McKinney.
Okay. So, now Seattle obviously has DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. We just signed Philip Dorsett. We've got John Ursula, who's a slot wide receiver. Didn't get much snaps, but has a lot of upside in our opinion. David Moore just signed his tender. I think it was yesterday or today. So, obviously, wide receiver isn't the biggest issue for the Seattle Seahawks, but there has been whispers around the club organization that's been saying maybe Seattle can go ahead and draft a wide receiver. There's a lot of guys like KJ Hamler, Jalen Rager. There's a lot of names that have been like going around. That's like Seattle might take a chance on these guys, but I don't think if Seattle's going to take a wide receiver, it's not going to be in the first 2 rounds. So is there any guys that are sleeper picks that you're like, you know what, this guy might go in the 4th or the 5th, but keep your eyes out for him?
Antonio Gandy Golden. I have him projected around 137, 138. That's prime for Seattle. 6'4", 228 pounds. He's not going to wow you with his speed. He's big like Randy Moss. He likes jump balls. In his collegiate career, his senior year, he had 79 catches, 1,396 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So I'm thinking he could be a game changer.
Wow. Okay. So you think he drops? You said 137.
Yeah.
That's prime position right there. Prime position. Okay. And moving on. So who do you think is the best running back in the draft? Because JT, Jonathan Taylor, obviously came out, I think, the other day and said, I love to play in Seattle. Every question he related to Seattle, they're like, which quarterback would you like to play for? He said, Russell Wilson. He's a Wisconsin legend, this and that. He said, I was so shocked to see Pete Carroll in the room, blah, 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 this, that. It's obvious that he wants to go to Seattle. Where do you think Jonathan Taylor kind of fits into that mold of like maybe late first rounder, early second rounder? Where do you kind of see him going?
I actually have a bold prediction. I believe that he's the only running back going in the first round.
Wow. That's a big prediction. Do you believe he is the best running back in this draft?
Yes. I
100%.
believe that if you look at all of the running backs, there are a couple that are close, but he's the complete package. Speed, burst, power. Now, he does have a little bit of a fumbling problem, but he's a thoroughbred. And he believes he has tread on the tires. When I met him at the combine and I spoke with him, he says he's got plenty more left. Now, collegiately, he had 6,174 yards rushing from scrimmage. That's a lot. But he's also a pass-catching back. Jonathan Taylor is a difference maker. I'm not going to compare him to a Christian McCaffrey, but he has more power than Christian McCaffrey. He's a franchise back.
So, okay. And you think Seattle, if they have a shot 27, are you taking Taylor over any other guys we've been talking about? Epinenza. I
You
think
see,
it's kind
now, that's a different story. Okay, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Antonio Gibson. There's a lot of running backs in this draft. And if you go reaching, other teams will teach. You need to fill holes on your defensive positions. Then go back and get the running back. You have 2 second-round picks. That's where you need to go offensive. Get your defense with the first pick. Second picks, get your running back, and maybe take your wide receiver.
Okay, perfect. Now, the rest of this podcast isn't going to relate to Seattle too much, but I've just got some overall questions. Now, I've gotten a lot of hate because I really like Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's the number 1 quarterback coming on the draft in terms of talent. Everybody has yelled at me for it. What do you think? Where is your quarterback ranking? Give me like your top 5, because I feel like I don't know if we have the same thinking or not, but just kind of give me what you're thinking.
For the simple reason, and I mean the only reason, why I'm putting Joe Burrow at number 1 is because of health. If Tua Tagovailoa didn't have health issues, this wouldn't even be a debate, because I believe you. I'm with you. I believe Tua is the best quarterback in this draft, but you can't ignore injury history. And that's the only reason that Joe Burrow is number 1 on my list. Number 2, Tua Tagovailoa. He's the best quarterback in this draft. Now, you can't take away what Joe Burrow did last year. It was a historical season for him. Tua gives you everything that you need. Left-handed quarterback to keep pass rushers off edge. Deep ball, accuracy, anticipation, improvisation. He is the best quarterback in this draft if he can stay healthy. Number 3 might shock you. It's not Justin Herbert. It's Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Jalen Hurts is the 3rd best quarterback in this draft. I don't even want to get started with the numbers. 3,852 yards passing his senior year. He threw for 32 touchdowns. He ran for 20 touchdowns and 1,200 yards. And to make matters worse, he even caught a couple of receiving touchdowns. He is a franchise quarterback. And I see him going to the Pittsburgh Steelers because they desperately need a replacement for Ben Roethlisberger. Number 4, Jordan Love. I'm not in love with this guy, but he can take off in a heartbeat. He's not scared. He doesn't have any vitamin scared in him. His deep ball needs a little bit of help, but he is a good transition for a team that needs a quarterback that you can have ready in the wings in a year or 2. And then finally, number 5, Jacob Eason. His work ethic is the reason why he's number 5, but he's got a hell of an arm. He can run multiple systems. He won't run the football. He's not one of those. He's going to be an old school pocket passer. but I can see him having success. He needs to work on his deep ball. Balls more than 35 yards plus, he was kind of shaky. But 35 in, that man was money.
Wow, so that's your top. You know what? What's crazy too? I'm not high on Justin Herbert either. I'm real suspect of Justin Herbert. I just don't think he kind of reminds me exactly of Mitchell Trubisky. Like, I just don't think he's gonna show up in the big leagues. Like, I don't know why.
People are gonna find out the hard way.
Yeah, and I think you know what's crazy? I think he goes early too. I think a lot of people are high on Justin Herbert, and I think it's gonna be a team that picks him early, whether that's whenever.
I've never been high on the Los Angeles Chargers, but I hope they pass up on a quarterback and they grab Isaiah Simmons because he's going to be there for the taking at number 6. I firmly believe that Jeffrey Okudah is going to go to the Detroit Lions. The offensive lineman from either Iowa or Alabama ends up in New York. Miami was taken for Tua. You know they're going to grab Tua. And I hope and pray that the Chargers grab Isaiah Simmons. Change the fortunes of your franchise. To hell with Herbert, get Simmons.
I agree. I think my ranking it's actually not too. I mean, we kind of have the same thinking. For me, it was actually, I think mine was number 1, Tua, like I said earlier. This one's gonna shock you. I don't have Burrow too. I love Jordan Love. I don't know why. I think he just has a big arm. He's an NFL type of arm. Footwork's a little sloppy, but I feel like a lot of the issues that he has is it's fixable. I don't know what. There's something about Burrow, like he has smaller hands, which kind of worries me. Like there's just there was just a lot of things. Like I wrote it down when I was breaking down the film, but there's just a lot of things where I feel like you couldn't teach to Jordan Love that he has. I feel like he's not right now the better quarterback, obviously not. But in terms of I'm thinking long term, I really like Jordan Love. I had Burrow 3, which made everybody pissed off. I had I think Hurts 4, Eason 5, which you also had Eason 5 too, right? So I'm also high on Jalen Hurts too. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I think, besides that, I mean, I think Tua is one of the most talented quarterbacks I've seen in college football in a long time. But that's just my opinion. It's crazy.
You got to stay healthy. That's a big issue.
I know that's a big issue, of course. I think, which sucks for the guy, which is, I mean, he's coming off, a season where it's like, if I stay healthy, I'm going to be the best quarterback in college football. But obviously that injury just worst timing. I remember seeing that and being like, oh my gosh. Like I'm seeing visions in the future. Like it's going to come back to haunt him for sure.
It derailed him.
Yeah. I mean, it's just now it's almost like people, you've already seen the reports probably too. Teams are not even already marking him off. Like they're like, the health scares us, they're crossing him off of the list already, which is crazy. Like, that's how bad his injury problems are, to the point where it's like these, teams that need a quarterback so desperately are like, I can't even take a risk on this guy because we don't know how many games he's going to play.
He didn't have an honest injury report. I couldn't talk to him. He was more guarded than the president. Well, he was more guarded than somebody who's actually important at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Apparently, he was nursing a wrist injury the same time that he was recovering from hip injury. And that wasn't on the report. So whenever a physical came through and they saw that he also had a broken wrist, well, darn, you withheld this information. It makes him look fragile.
Yeah, who knows what else he's hiding at this point. So I guess that's another issue. So, yeah, for sure. I think I'm super excited for the draft. This is like, I always get that excited feeling inside of me because you never know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a little bit weird, obviously, because this virtual draft thing. I guarantee you there's going to be at some point at a time where somebody's, power is going to go out or something. We're going to be stuck on a team for 20 minutes. It's probably going to happen. It's going to be very glitchy. It's going to happen. But, enough of the draft. I want to go ahead and talk about Tampa Bay because I feel like Tampa Bay is one of the most talked about teams in the NFL at the moment. Obviously,
the most hated.
Now they're also the most hated, which is crazy. Which I'm happy for Tampa. I feel like it was enough of the Jameis Winston crap. You're actually going to get a quarterback that comes in, which I want to talk about for a second because a lot of people disagree with me on my page. They're probably listening right now. I always say, like, Tampa Bay is going to be, they're going to be scary. And like they added an old quarterback with a tight end that's coming off the couch, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. I'm kind of high on Tampa Bay right now. What do you think? Let's just start with Tom Brady. What was your initial reaction to Tom Brady signing? Because I knew you were on that. I remember when we were at the Magic game, you were like, watch out for like Tom Brady might be going to the Bucs. And this was like a month before he even signed. So you were on that reel for a long time. I remember that.
Thank you for remembering that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I try to keep my ear to the ground. To be completely honest, I wasn't too psyched about trading in a 26-year-old quarterback for a 43-year-old quarterback. I was like, you're gambling, and you don't have the weapons to gamble with because you need to do something with OJ, in which they're doing. You need to fix the offensive line, in which they're doing, and you're still a safety or corner away. Well, fast forward. You just got Rob Gronkowski. You're getting an offensive lineman. You're addressing the running back issue Friday and Saturday, and you're going to fix the secondary. So I believe Tampa Bay should be second in the league in total offense. And I'm not even going to entertain the fact that they're not making the playoffs. They're a playoff team. To your fans, the people that are hating, they're a playoff team. Get used to
100%.
it. You're going to deal with the Buccaneers. Now, are they still the best team? I'm not going to say they're the best team. San Francisco isn't scared of anybody, and we're going to have to be battling in the division with New Orleans. So it's going to be an uphill climb. But I see Tampa Bay being 12-4, at worst 11-5.
I see that too, 100%. People are saying 9-7. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like, this is a team that Tom Brady knows how to win. Like, I don't care how old he is. He's a winner.
Oh, and something else I should probably give to your fans. If you don't think that they're going to be able to score points, let me help you out with something. These are numbers under Jameis Winston and the last time that Rob Gronkowski played. Numbers under Jameis Winston. Mike Evans, 1,157 yards, 8 touchdowns before he went down with injury. Chris Godwin, 1,333 yards, 9 touchdowns before he went down with injury. As you can see, I'm not using any paper. This is off the top of my head. Cameron Brate, 311 yards, 4 touchdowns. Ronald Jones, 724 yards rushing, 309 yards receiving, and 6 total touchdowns. Add Rob Gronkowski, which has averaged 57 to 58 catches a year, 842 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That's 40 touchdowns already. Tampa's going to have a very potent offense.
I 100% agree. I think Tampa's going to be one of the most dangerous teams in the league. Tell me if you disagree or not, but it almost kind of feels like that Peyton Manning-esque, like where he went to Denver, he's finally going to get the weapons. Like they exploded, had one of the best offenses in football. Remember that? They had Eric Decker, they had D Tom, they had Julius Thomas at tight end, Wes Welker. It was one of those situations where it was like Peyton Manning got that offense where it was like, absolutely insane, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl, and that's how I almost feel like with Tom Brady.
You, of all people, should remember that ended in chaos. That
Yes,
Seattle
it did.
Seahawks team decapitated that Denver Broncos squad.
I mean, I think that was almost like an open – for me at the time, I didn't really care because we won the Super Bowl. But, the more you think about it, it was like I never thought Peyton Manning was a choker until I looked back at that game. I was like, dang, man, like Peyton just cannot show up in the playoffs. But I don't feel like that with Tom Brady, though. That's like the biggest difference. Plus, I like the Buccaneers offense a lot more than I did Denver's. I feel like Wes Welker was already kind of out of his prime. I like the Demaryius Thomas and, Eric Decker, but come on, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronkowski. I mean, I don't even care if Gronkowski's coming off the couch. You don't think Gronkowski's running hills every once in a while? There's no way. I mean, I just feel like they draft a decent running back. They're good. I mean, I like Rojo, but one decent running back to get him over that hump.
Look for them to grab A.J. Dillon, Cam Akers, or my dog, my sleeper, Scotty Phillips, as a pass blocking and pass receiving running back, because that's exactly what Tampa Bay needs. They needed pass protection, and they needed a running back out of the backfield who can catch.
Wow, okay. So where do you think Tampa Bay goes? I mean, in terms of which pick do you think they pick a running back?
Number 14, offensive lineman. We want Becton. We'll settle for Thomas. Wills is going to be gone, either between Cleveland or New York. And Wirfs, that's a pipe dream. We're not getting Wirfs.
Okay.
Number 45. This should be the running back pick, but I think they might be leaning on a defensive tackle. There is not a backup behind Vita Vea. And Ndamukong Suh is getting long in the tooth. We need to do something about that before it's too late. Third pick, that's probably when we grab the running back. Whoever's left between Cam Akers, A.J. Dillon, Antonio Gibson, and all them boys, I'm hoping it's A.J. Dillon. But that's when they plan on getting their running back. But I'm not the one to gossip, so you didn't hear that from me.
You think Tampa Bay might use a lower pick, not the 45 or whatever you said, and might wait until next year? Because next year there are a huge collection of running backs that are going to hit the market. I feel like way bigger than this year. You think
They
they're going to
can't wait. They can't wait.
Now?
They are a running back, offensive lineman, 2 of them, and a safety away from going to the Super Bowl. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
They got 7 picks. Fix the offensive line like you should have did with Jameis. Grab yourself a running back like you should have did with Jameis, and fix that secondary, and we're Super Bowl bound.
Well, I 100% agree. I think Tampa Bay is going to be one of the best teams in the league for sure. I think Bruce Arians is a wizard. We had to play Bruce Arians twice a year, and it was a pain. No matter if the Cardinals were 3-13 or 13-3, Arians always gave us problems. And I always saw the mind. I was like, man, if Bruce just had a team, man. Like if Bruce Arians had a team, I always loved Bruce Arians. I feel like this is his moment to, Bruce, this is your team. This is your moment now. Like, what are you going to do with it type of situations? And we're going to see what Bruce Arians, he got his perfect situation. He got probably the greatest quarterback of all time, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, great receiving core. What else do you want right now? This is your moment. I think it's going to be great for Buccaneers fans. I think it's great.
It's our time now. 2-year window. Because we know that after the 2 years, the ride is over and we go back to the basement.
You think?
Man. Okay. New Orleans is about to go through a change.
Mm-hmm.
This is their last run. And right now, we're the fly in that ointment. Atlanta, they're not ready. Their secondary is straight trash. And their running back is going to have to be replaced. Todd Gurley, who I am a fan of, has arthritis in both knees and had reduction written all over him last year. Now, don't get alarmed and say, ooh, he had 15 touchdowns. Guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't have 1,000 yards rushing. That's what lets you know a running back is starting to slow down.
Yeah, for sure. So,
and Carolina, let's save our time and not even talking about Carolina.
Yeah. I didn't like the Teddy Two Gloves signing. I was like, why are you going to give that man that much money? I didn't really understand it. I was like, what, that guy's going to get you 9 wins, 10 wins at max? Like, he's not going to take you to the Super Bowl. You're giving him that much money. I didn't understand. I like Teddy Two Gloves too. But
sunshine. They are trying to lose for sunshine.
I know, and I think it's getting obvious too. I don't even think they're trying to hide it at this point. Moving on, I've just got a couple more. I wrote it. I just thought of it. So obviously, Drew Brees is on borrowed time at this point. We don't know how much time Drew Brees has got, and I do not think Taysom Hill is the guy. 100%. Like there's 110% of me. Taysom Hill is not the guy. Do you think Jordan Love might be an option for the New Orleans Saints if he drops that far?
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
So,
okay. Look, I don't believe Taysom Hill's the guy either, but I don't think they draft a quarterback in the first round. No, they have other pressing needs. Now, I agree with you. Taysom Hill is not the answer, but for now, that's not an issue. That's a waiting to be continued on that one. But yes, I agree. Taysom Hill is not the answer. Drew Brees, this is his last ride in the sunset. If he doesn't get it done this year, they're not getting it done.
That's true. I 100% agree with that. And also, I want to move on to Tampa because I feel like Tampa Bay is also in a similar situation where Tom Brady is also on borrowed time. Tampa Bay is literally borrowing Tom Brady. It's like a rental. We got you for 2 years, Tom. What are you going to do with it? Do you think Tampa Bay kind of looks at it and be like, maybe we should draft a quarterback, whether it's, later, earlier, whatever, and be like, maybe sit him behind Tom a couple of years, let him learn. So by the time you do have to, let Tom go, a guy steps up who's learned under Tom Brady for a couple of years, just like Jimmy Garoppolo did. Now, he just took the Niners to the Super Bowl. Maybe, get to experience under the guy, or what do you think is going to happen in terms of that?
All right, bear with me for 20 seconds because I do not want this to die. My phone is a little bit low, but let me elaborate on this so that way I'm not being misconstrued.
Yeah.
I root for my team, and you know how I feel about Tampa Bay. You know how I feel about it. But I felt that this was a very risky, we're going to go all in type of move that they did, taking Tom Brady and basically ousting their 26-year-old quarterback who led their team in passing all time. 19,737 yards, that's not easy to do. Yet for some reason, they didn't have a lot of faith in the gentleman. So, 1 second, 30-second pause.
No problem.
Hello, sir. All right. So, I feel personally that Jameis Winston should be a backup. Here's my reasoning. If Tom Brady were to go down, now you got pissed off conservatives, Republicans who don't want to root for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers no more, transient fans that can't trash talk on Facebook, and a lot of angry people who overpaid jerseys. Yeah. Now, if you were to keep Winston, A, he already knows this offense. Duh. B, you need a backup. Blaine Gabbert is not the answer. I'll argue with people till I'm blue in the face. Blaine Gabbert is not a viable answer behind Tom Brady. And number 3, he could be the savior. You're not in the AFC East anymore. You're not dealing with the Buffalo Bills before Josh Allen and the makeover with McDermott, or the garbage Jets trash. And Miami has rebuilt, but they weren't rebuilding whenever Tom Brady and Gronk were there. This is the NFC South. They score points. They hit quarterbacks. They hurt people. It's going to be a completely different ball game. Yep. If Brady goes down, someone needs to be able to keep maneuvering the ship. Who better than Jameis Winston?
I agree.
What do I know? There's still a Confederate flag in St. Pete-Tampa, so I just don't believe that Jameis is going to be coming back to the team, because you obviously see if you don't fit the description, they don't want you on the team.
Which sucks, because I do think Jameis would have been perfect. And I felt like Jameis needs to sit. I don't care wherever Jameis goes to other 31 teams. I think he needs to sit. He needs to break right now. And he needs a time to just sit down, just analyze, get coached a little bit. What better team to do it? The team with the Bucs. Just stay with the same team, sit for a couple of years, learn on Tom Brady, and just take the reins again. Like, I just don't understand that.
This is up to Winston, though, because he needs to learn a little bit about being humble. He wanted $30 million.
Yeah.
Don't blame him, because, all quarterbacks want to get paid. And he wouldn't take the contract that they try to offer him. Well, lo and behold, they sucker punched him, swooped in, got a quarterback 17 years older than him, but has 6 more rings. Now, that age, that doesn't play much of a role when you're experienced and you're a winner. As much as I hate to admit it, Tom Brady is an upgrade over Jameis Winston.
100%.
Now, with that being said, this is Jameis's team. He was drafted number 1 overall. He knows that offense like no one else does. He's never had a consistent base to where he had a running game, good coaching, and people who believed in him. And the 1 year that he did, they went 7-9 after losing Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and a secondary that was atrocious at the beginning of the year. Let's not forget, Matt Gay missed game-winning field goals against New York, Tennessee, and the Atlanta Falcons. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Actually, he missed 4. He missed 4. I'm sorry. I almost let him off the hook. Here's my point. All of these losses are not on Jameis Winston. A couple of them are. Yes, they are. But all of them aren't. People just like to look at stat lines instead of looking at the game. Jameis should stay in Tampa. Someone should talk to him, say, swallow your pride, do what you need to do, learn. Behind Tom Brady, the GOAT, learn. And once Tom Brady goes into the sunset, not one person can question that Tampa Bay is his team.
100%. I like Jameis. I always looked at Jameis and be like, this is a guy who's even, fourth quarter, down by 4, down by 7, whatever. He has 2 minutes to get down the field and score a touchdown. Jameis is not scared. That's what I always liked about Jameis. Like, Jameis was never scared to throw the football. And that was one thing I always looked at Jameis be like, that's a trait that's like almost hard to find, which is like you have a lot of traits in the quarterback where it's like you can teach this, you can teach that, but you can't teach this. I feel like not being scared of the moment is just one thing where it's like it just takes years and years to develop, but Jameis just always had it, in my opinion. And maybe that's why he throws so many interceptions because, he's a slinger. But at the same time, he works on, all these small things. All of a sudden, he turns from a slinger to a whatever's next after a slinger. I don't even know what that is. But, he gets that next tier, which is exactly where I think he needs to go. He's not scared of the moment. That was one thing I always respected about Jameis Winston.
The problem is if he doesn't stay, he's going to be a backup somewhere because there's not a lot of starting positions left. And do you really want to go to a place where they're drafting a quarterback? So you're going to be a placeholder for a year before they start the other guy? No. Yeah. Do what you need to do. Stay at home. Swallow that pill. Learn behind Tom Brady. Restructure your contract, bro. Restructure your contract.
You think there's a chance that he could come back, really?
Small.
It's the smartest idea.
Small chance, but yes.
What do you think about the rumors that are going out that maybe Pittsburgh could be a destination for him, sit behind Big Ben?
That makes sense, too. Here's the problem with Pittsburgh. I have it from my sources that, how can I say this politely? I don't believe he will be accepted in Pittsburgh.
Okay. So you don't think we're going to even go there? We're not even going to go there. That type of like.
Yeah. Let's not even go there. I don't believe he would be accepted.
Okay. So you think, what if, like, this isn't even a rumor that's going on, but what if Jameis to New England? Do you like that?
I would love that. They need to get him some weapons, but I think if he can handle Belichick and not throw interceptions, I would love to see Tampa Bay versus New England. That would make me giddy because everybody loses. The quarterback that you gave up on, you have to face in the Super Bowl in his own stomping grounds, or the quarterback that you gave up on beats you in his old stomping grounds. Either way, you lose. You gave up on the quarterback that you're facing in the Super Bowl, or you get beat by the quarterback that you gave up in the Super Bowl. I would love that. But personally, I do believe that the Baltimore Ravens or Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the AFC representative. It's only three people in the NFC: San Fran, Saints, or the Bucs.
I think that's 100% true. I think San Francisco was one of those teams where I thought, you know what, they're going to lose a lot this offseason. It's going to be tough. Eric Armstead's probably going to walk. They have the money. They just reloaded, and they added a little bit more, in my opinion. They're in a perfect position. When they traded DeForest Buckner, I was like, uh-oh. Like, I was like, Judy or Lamb at 13. It was one of those things where I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, Shanahan and Lynch are, like, some of the smartest in the game right now. I mean, it was just a reload.
They're not getting Judy or Lamb.
You don't think so?
Let me do 1 through 12 real quick. Let's see if I can nail this.
Let's do it.
Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. Washington, Chase Young. Detroit, they should get Simmons, but they're going to grab Okudah. Giants, I'm stuck between Wills or Wirfs. I'm going to say Tristan Wirfs, all right? Because you need a ground game you could trust. Miami, tanking for Tua.
Yep.
6, if you're smart, you'd get Simmons. But we're dealing with GMs that want to sell tickets, so they're probably going to grab Herbert. 7, that's where you get Simmons. Carolina Panthers. 8, Jedrick Wills, Arizona. Keep Kyler Murray clean. 9, Derek Brown. They need to replace Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue, and they're having a fire sale in Jacksonville.
Leonard Fournette might go either.
Exactly. 10, Cleveland, Mekhi Becton. Now, if they're scared of him getting high, they might go Andrew Thomas. I want them to go Andrew Thomas. That way Tampa gets Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
Jets, Jerry Jeudy. Just makes sense. All those J's, it's a marketing campaign. They love it. Plus, he looks like Julio Jones. Oakland, CeeDee Lamb. 13, that's the question mark. Will it be Justin Jefferson Will it be Denzel Mims? Will it be Henry Ruggs? I'm not sure. But I'm almost willing to bet that 13th pick for San Francisco is not going to be defense. It's going to be offense.
100%. I mean, that works out for – I mean, I am legitimately scared. Hopefully, Judy or Lamb do not drop because I do not want to deal with D-Hop in Arizona. We got to deal with either Judy or Lamb in San Francisco, including Deebo Samuel. Then we obviously got, the duo now, or it's about to be duo in L.A. Depends on what happens with Brandon Cooks. But, whatever it is, I mean, it's going to be an interesting year. I'm excited. But I think who do you think out of those three guys, Jefferson, who's it, Jefferson, Ruggs, and who's the last person we just said?
Mims.
Mims, there we go, Denzel Mims. Who do you think is the best one out of all three?
The smallest of edges to Justice Jefferson. Small edge. I'm in love with Denzel Mims. No homo. Denzel Mims had an amazing collegiate career the second Matt Rule got into his life. His freshman year before Matt Rule arrived at Baylor, he had 4 catches for 24 yards. When Matt Rule got to Baylor, he was a consistent 1,000-yard receiver. He finished his collegiate career with 2,882 yards, a whole bunch of touchdowns, and about 14 yards a catch. He's a number 1. I don't want him to end up in Green Bay because that's more struggling for the Chicago Bears. And I damn sure don't want to see him somewhere in the NFC West because on any team he would be a weapon. Arizona doesn't need him. Yeah. Seattle will complete the transition with Metcalf, Lockett, and with Mims. Take away – well, you don't have to worry about the Rams. They don't have a first-round pick, so never mind. But I see him and Deebo just ruling the block. If Denzel Mims ends up in San Francisco, they're going to the Super Bowl. You could quote me on that.
Wow, that's crazy. I do not want you to say that because I don't want San Francisco to go back to the Super Bowl at all. That's definitely scary. I think this year, one thing I do want to note, because even though I am very high on Judy and Lamb and all these other guys, I think there's always the bust factor. And obviously, I think wide receiver is one of those positions where, yes, it is a typical bust positions over the last few drafts because it's one of those positions where your quarterback's got to be right. The coach has got to be right. The offensive line's got to give the quarterback time. So I feel like it's one of those positions where it's like, you know what? Like, you might think whoever is a good receiver, but if they're not in the right system,
it's not going to matter.
It ain't going to matter. Like, I feel like there's a lot of guys like that who didn't even who was one guy? I'm trying to think. There's probably 10 million names where it's like, that guy didn't pop until the team got better. I think guys like Corey Davis for a while didn't really show up. And then all of a sudden this year, Tannehill's starting taking over the offense a little bit. I felt like
A.J. Brown broke out as a rookie.
A.J. Brown, too. A.J. Brown was another receiver. I think there's guys like Mike Williams who isn't living up to his potential. I think one of the big reasons was Philip Rivers could throw it 25 yards down the field, and that was it. I feel like that was a big issue for, hopefully maybe the Chargers get a better, quarterback. Maybe this whole conversation changes.
Mike Williams is one of my fantasy sleepers this year. People are sleeping on Tyrod Taylor, and they shouldn't. They really, really shouldn't. People seem to forget that the last time Anthony Lynn and Tyrod Taylor were at the helms of a team, Buffalo made the playoffs. Yep. Buffalo had made the playoffs since 2000, since I was a little bitty kid. That was a long time ago, okay? Yep. They made the playoffs with Anthony Lynn and Tyrod Taylor. Look for the Chargers, now that there's 7 teams instead of 6 teams, to break through and make the playoffs in the AFC.
As long as they don't draft Justin Herbert.
Well, Herbert's going to have to learn anyway. And I think if Tyrod starts out hot and he starts winning, Lynn's not pulling that trigger.
You
go with the horse that got you there.
You're right, 100%. I agree. Yeah, you know what? Because they've already named they already named Tyrod their starter, didn't they? At this point.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they already named Tyrod. Yeah. So what am I thinking? So 100%. I think those are one of those situations where. Going on we got what we were just talking wide receivers. I think obviously Chargers are going to be contenders. I think what was it? What we were just wide receivers, correct? Wide receivers. Like I said, going back to like the whole bus thing, it's a position where you're going to have a bus. We talked about A.J. Brown. We talked about Mike Williams. Is there any other guy that's like who has potential but just isn't in the right system? It's hard
Well,
to think.
let me be completely honest about this. I believe Terry McLaurin is probably the best of the second-year wide receivers.
Yeah.
Scary Terry was a teammate of Dwayne Haskins in Ohio State, but you
Mm-hmm.
got to think all of his potential was getting second fiddle to Paris Campbell. Now in the NFL, the roles are reversed. Have you heard Paris Campbell's name last year on the
Not much.
Indianapolis Colts? But
Not
I
much.
saw nothing but highlights from Terry McLaurin. I
Yes.
believe he's a star in the making.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I love DK Metcalf, of course, but I cannot deny that Terry McLaurin had a great year last year. It was almost like easy money because I play FanDuel. It's like every week, it's like, all right, Terry McLaurin in my lineup automatically. Like, he's just one of those guys where it's like, dang, you turn on Red Zone, it's like, you hear the music come on, it's like, we got a touchdown in Washington, and McLaurin's running 80 yards on the field. And you're like, wow, like, this man is good. Like, it's crazy how good Terry McLaurin is. I'm really excited to see how that goes. I feel like I knew immediately last year when the Washington Redskins drafted Dwayne Haskins, I was like, that is not the move. I don't like Haskins. I still don't like Haskins. I'm not saying he's what is it called? He's not gonna, progress or anything. I never really liked him. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Haskins?
His 1 full year as a starter, he had 5,000 yards passing.
Mm-hmm.
Under the right system and under the tutelage of Ron Rivera, I can see him prospering. Let's take a look at the NFC East. They were the worst division last year.
Of course.
They couldn't protect Danny Dimes, which they're going to address in this draft. Philadelphia, wide receiver. Can you name one that was any good? Exactly.
Yeah.
And Dallas got in their own damn way every chance they got. Other than this year, with a very, very angry Dak Prescott, that division is wide open. And I'd love to see Danny Dimes and Dwayne Haskins battle it out for years to come.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I'm not giving up on Dwayne Haskins. Obviously, I feel like the quarterback position has been the biggest problem for the Redskins, even though they won't address it. I don't think they won't. They're going to grab Chase Young. But I feel like the quarterback position for the longest time was, forever Washington's problem. I feel like they had RG3 years ago, but he had injury problems. He let go. Kirk Cousins wanted too much money. They didn't want to pay him. He goes. Alex Smith, you bring Alex Smith in. He has an injury. We don't even know if he's ever going to play again. Probably not. Who knows?
He's not going to play again.
He's not playing.
Not playing.
Alex Smith is gone. Now you're coming down to, like, the guys where it's like, well, Dwayne Haskins, like, if you don't work, like, what are we going to do? We're going to turn around and draft another guy? Like, it's like
Washington's fan base is against each other. They have a civil war. They have their own personal issues that we're not going to get into, but they can't even decide on whether or not they can agree on the same quarterback. They have a lot of infighting in that fan base. For Haskins, against Haskins, they're never going to get it together until they have camaraderie.
Of course. And I think another big issue is I like the Ron Rivera signing. I've always loved Ron Rivera. One thing that kind of scared me was the whole Kyle Allen trade, where I'm like, uh-oh, like, what are we doing with this? Like, what are we doing?
You need a backup. You need a backup.
Of course, but, like, Kyle Allen's your backup? Like, that's what you're going with 100%? Is it because he knows Ron Rivera? Is that why you think it was a smart idea?
Yes. Not completely, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
He could run Ron Rivera's system, and I believe he needed to get out of Carolina because there was so many issues in Carolina. Kyle Allen could be a good quarterback, but he is a top-notch backup. I'm looking at rosters, and I'm thinking, other than Nick Foles, he's got to be the best backup available.
For sure. I agree with that. You think he competes with Haskins with that job?
No.
You think 100% Haskins starting week 1?
That's Haskins' job to lose.
Okay, I agree with that. And speaking of Carolina, let's talk about Cam because, a few years ago, Cam was at the top of the helm. We thought Cam was going to be – this was his breakout moment, 15-1 to Carolina Super Bowl. This is the moment we've been waiting for. This is the moment. This is why Carolina drafted Cam Newton in the first overall pick. This is his moment. Little did we know a few years later we're going to be talking about why Carolina has just released Cam Newton. The team is completely revamped. Cam Newton's time in, Carolina is over. Where do you think Cam Newton is going to end up? And do you think he's even going to be productive?
To the West, Cam Newton, to the West. Get out of the NFC South too many weapons, too many people trying to shoot you. You can't dress like Medea and be taken seriously. Carolina did him wrong. As an organization and as media, they did him wrong. I'll be writing a piece on Cam Newton and how he was portrayed, not only from the media, but from his own organization. I believe he needs to start fresh and start anew, whether it be AFC or NFC, to the West, my brother, to the West.
You think there is any possibility that he ends up with Ron Rivera again in Washington?
No.
So you think the Colin and Dwayne Haskins duo, we're doing that? You think there's no doubt?
Yes.
Okay.
It would be a liability for Cam Newton to go back to Ron Rivera.
You think that relationship's done?
I think they love each other. I think they'll always have a relationship, but they can't be quarterback coach. It's going to show that Cam Newton is an invalid if he goes back to Rivera. He can't do that.
Start,
yeah, start fresh. Rebuild your career. Take back what you're owed.
You know what the biggest thing with Cam Newton is? Obviously, two completely situations, but I almost saw the same progression into the career. I'm going to compare it to Colin Kaepernick real quick, because even though their careers fell down in a completely different way, it came to the point where Colin Kaepernick was a guy that was like this next generational quarterback, and then it came to the point where I was watching Thursday Night Football against us, and he's throwing slants and it's hitting the turf. Like, he can't even hit slants right. And that's how I almost felt with Cam Newton, where it's like Cam Newton used to be nasty. Wasn't always as accurate, but he could laser some balls down the field. It's coming to a point where I'm seeing Cam, like, throwing it. His shoulder kind of looks awkward, and it's, like, bouncing 5 yards in front of the receivers. Like, I'm like, what's going on with Cam? Like, it's almost like what happened to Colin. Obviously, Colin wasn't dealing with injury problems. What I think with Colin happened, I think once Jim Harbaugh left, the guy that made Colin Kaepernick, he was kind of finished. But not even about that. But I kind of see the same with Cam. Do you think Cam gets a starting role in 2020 to 2021? Or do you think he might have to play that Jameis Winston role where it's like you might have to sit for a year, you might have to come in as a backup?
There's only two spots where Cam Newton can be a starter right now. And you don't want to go to Miami because they're taking for Tua, and you're only going to be a placeholder. And do you really want to go to Cincinnati? Yeah. Do you really want to go to Cincinnati? I wouldn't want to go to Cincinnati.
Yep.
Now, I actually think that if he heads out west, Spidey senses are tingling. Jared Goff doesn't seem too mobile. He could get hurt. Blake Bortles is a joke, the worst joke that ever came out of Central Florida. I believe in the NFC West, Cam Newton can prosper. I truly do.
No, I 100% agree. Do you think there's any way he goes to New England?
20%.
You know what's weird? I do like that, but the thing is, does Cam have that personality that vibes with Bill?
No.
That's the
not
thing.
At all.
That's the problem.
If you're looking for a starting job, that would be one of the last places to go to, because I believe they're going to go with Jared Stidham.
That's scary for New England. I don't know. I think that's scary.
Sunshine.
Hey, you never know.
No, but this has been great. Do you have any other questions for me, sir? Give me one more. Why not?
Yeah, screw it. Let's do one more. You think so? 100% Jared Stidham is going to stay in. Is going to be the starting quarterback in New England. You don't think they even consider Jordan Love or anybody?
I think Belichick always has something up his sleeve. He plays chess while other people play checkers. Right now, as of now, Jared Stidham is the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots. Whether he drafts Jordan Love, Jacob Eason, or takes a chance on another quarterback, I don't know. It's the hoodie. I compare him to a Sith in Star Wars. I would turn my back on him.
Okay. I like the way you ended that, Alex. Thank you. Honestly, you didn't have to come on. It was last minute. Thank you very much for joining. Go ahead and shout yourself out. Do you have anything you want to go ahead and plug real quick?
Alex Fleming on Twitter, ALXFLMNG. Alex Fleming, no vowels except for the A. I will be on the Sports Web tomorrow night. I'm going to be on the Sports Arena tomorrow night. I have a very busy night tomorrow night. You can catch my writing on the Florida Sun Review Central Florida's oldest Black living newspaper, 100 plus years. You can also catch me doing a brief bit with Sports Talk Unfiltered. They're my little go-to whenever Fantasy and Flavors is out of season. And believe me, Fantasy and Flavors is out of season. I gave the people an extra month with the combine. I like to chill because I'm trying to progress to greener pastures. You know what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
You know what I'm trying to do.
I know exactly.
Shout out to the Orlando Magic. Last time I was there, the reporters really didn't show me a lot of love. But there's a reason why I do football and basketball. So that way I don't need love from basketball reporters.
Exactly. That's it. The Orlando Magic media is definitely interesting for anybody that's listening. We've both been through it. It's a little interesting for sure. But like I said, thank you very much, Alex. I'd love to have you on again. It was a lot of fun, man. I love getting your insight. I took notes, of course, because I do respect your opinions and stuff. So thank you very much for coming on.
I thank you, Mr. Michael. If you want to be a guest on the show for the Sports Arena tomorrow night, we'd love to have you. Guys, it's draft season. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Of course. Of course, man. Yeah, I'll go ahead and hit you up, Alex, and we go ahead and discuss all the details. But thank you very much, man. Guys, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy Alex. Like I said, you can go ahead and catch him on Twitter, whatever. He should be back on again. Great guy. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys soon. See you later, Alex. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, man.